your graduation right around Katrina. And you don't want to make her mad. Listen to LaToya. Check this out.
The creature is driven by rage and pursued by an investigative reporter.
Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Is that clearly LaToya Cantrell's voice or what? Don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you. My goodness. I don't know how to say this. Turn off the radio program. Turn off the TV program. Stop watching on YouTube. Get off the CoreyTalks.com website. Go outside. Go outside and enjoy this day. Thank you and good afternoon, everyone. The show's over. I'm going outside. This is one of those days where I wish I had some like roll-up doors and the studio, the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studio was like on a platform on like some kind of rollers. And we could roll up the roll-up doors, Joe, and just kind of push the whole studio out on a balcony and be outside right now. With the birds chirping, the blue sky, the sunshine, mid to high 60s. Absolutely gorgeous weather Friday. Yeah, you right. A fantasy Friday. Yeah, you right. A week from Tuesday, they call it Mardi Gras. This guy, Mardi Gras from Cleveland, came into New Orleans. He was in the quarter. This is like 1974. People think Mardi Gras goes way back. Started in 1974. Dude had an extended weekend in from Cleveland. He was partying in New Orleans. It was like Monday, kind of took a break from the weekend of partying. But then Tuesday, he's like, man, I want to party some more. So he just went out on the street and started dancing. People started following him. Ended up being like a parade. And this Marty guy from Cleveland, Mr. Mardi Gras, I think was his last name, Grass. He started this whole thing, this carnival, this festival thing. Don't buy into the Catholic religion and all that stuff. Zulu Rex, they don't exist. Mardi Gras from Cleveland, 1973. A Tuesday afternoon in the quarter, he said, we're going to party. And the rest is history. Coming up in a few minutes, Mardi Gras will join us live. He's now 113 years old. But reports are that he had his Metamucil and he is ready to roll for the interview. Mr. Mardi Gras coming up in just a little while. All right, the Mardi Gras celebration is cranking up New Orleans style. No one does it like the Crescent City. We're starting to get the feel, the vibe right now. A week from now, it'll be that 100-hour countdown. That Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Mardi Gras Day, Fat Tuesday gimmick. But we got some parade scheduled tonight. Tomorrow's parade, smart. They kind of went from midday to afternoon to morning, midday parades so they can get them in before the rain expected tomorrow. Sunday looks really nice. Sunday could be like today. Gorgeous weather. Yeah, get outside and enjoy it. Get outside and enjoy tomorrow morning. And Sunday should be nice. Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, we could see some inclement weather rolling in. Hey, every day this program on radio, on television, live on YouTube, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our fledgling YouTube channel. We're trying to grow that. I suck so bad at social media, it's a struggle. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. CoreyTalks.com, our website. That's got all the info. Where we are on radio, where we are on television, where we are on YouTube, live streaming, all that good stuff. CoreyTalks.com. Every day it's brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra, the Car Corner, Williams Boulevard and I-10. Tomorrow's a big car buying day, Saturday. Head on over to the Lamarck Automotive Complex, #1 Ford dealership in the region, #1 Lincoln dealership in the state. You need a truck? Ford Trucks for you or commercial applications. Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway, the legendary New Orleans Ford truck dealership for over 80 years. Now under the Lamarck umbrella. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now Crescent City Ford, Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Yeah, you right. Did I mention gorgeous weather? Did I mention it's Friday? Did I mention Mardi Gras? Yeah, a week from Tuesday, Mardi Gras Day. A week from this Tuesday. Hey, coming up in about 8 minutes. No, it's not Mardi Gras. That guy doesn't exist. Fridays with Fletch. That guy doesn't exist, really. We were trying to get Travers, the legitimate Mackel. He was busy or something. Anyway, we had to settle for Fletcher Mackel. Anyway, Fridays with Fletch coming up in a few minutes. I love getting Fletch on the program. Knows what he's talking about when it comes to sports and a few other things. Not much, but a few other things. And isn't scared to give an opinion, no matter how worthless it might be. Fletcher Mackel in a few minutes. Coming up in the 5 o'clock powwow, we got a good one. Always got a good one on a Fantasy Friday. In a little over 1 hour, we'll go to the Riverbend, that Carrollton section of Uptown. Frank Brigtsen will join us from his restaurant, Brigtsen's, and we literally will find out what's cooking. What's cooking economy-wise? 5:35. Michael Hecht, right after Frank Brigtsen at 5:20. Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. will join us. It's 2024. Where are those singles, doubles, triples? We need a home run. We need a Grand Slam home run. Michael Hecht's going to join us. Talk about that battery materials plant manufacturing facility going up in the East. It's rare that New Orleans East gets something good. I mean, we usually hear maybe like a Folgers expansion or something going on at Michoud, NASA, but not too much else. This is good news. Michael Hecht will fill us in an hour. New Orleans' own Carl Weathers has passed away. Way too young, too, just 76. And Carl Weathers at 76 looks like he could beat most people's rear end. He was still a, thick-chested, in shape. He wasn't fat, didn't look 76. Even with the gray beard, didn't look 76. No, it's sad. St. Aug grad. Most folks know him as Rocky Balboa's nemesis, Apollo Creed in the Rocky movies. But he's done a bunch of other stuff. Seemed to be just a really humble, nice guy, too. New Orleans' own, St. Aug's own, former Oakland Raider. Carl Weathers passing away at just 76 years old. This is of vital importance. This falls, you remember I mentioned Jeff Landry, LaToya Cantrell, very, very much alike, but except ideology. Pitt, there's an enemy out there. The enemy's racist. The enemy is bad, is evil. Don't worry about me or my accomplishments. It's always, pointing the finger. Governor Jeff Landry is down at the Texas-Mexico border. Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is at the Texas-Mexico border. Anyone in Louisiana, I don't care how conservative, evangelical, concerned you are about the border crisis, anyone in Louisiana that doesn't have a problem with Jeff Landry being down at the border, there's something wrong with you. Because I can promise you, Abbott, no one from Texas is going to be at Grand Isle or Port Fourchon going, boy, Louisiana's coastline's disappearing. No one from New Mexico, Arizona, California ever. They could give a you-know-what. They don't even think about it, don't even know about it. But our governor, where we have no illegal illegal immigration, undocumented worker problem. The opposite. We could probably use more. Our governors at the Texas-Mexico border, we don't have time for junkets and nonsense, political crap. Bobby Jindal did that for a while, wanted to be president. Jeff Landry needs to be in Louisiana doing Louisiana's work, not having fun in Texas, on the state's dime. Corey Johnson with you. Fletcher, Mackel next. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store, and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Anyway, Joe, don't put my mic up yet, but you tell those Channel 6 folks, no, I would not. First off, I don't want to do sports anchoring because that's, come on, who can't do that? And I'm sort of friendly with Fletch. I mean, we're not friends. We're kind of acquaintances, I guess. And I don't want to have him lose his job and take his gig.
That's true.
So tell the Channel 6 guys, no, I'm not going to sports anchor and I'm not going to bump Fletch out of his job.
Sorry.
What? Oh, we're back live. Corey Johnson with you, the Neutral Ground program. Friday afternoon, gorgeous Friday weather. It's another edition of Fridays with Fletch.
What's up, dude?
What's up, yo?
Not a lot. It's a gorgeous day. You're right.
I guess you didn't hear that little intro part, huh?
I got to admit, I caught some of it. I feel like I'm always preoccupied when you're calling me. We got a lot going on today. St. Tired and OC. Sadly, Carl Weathers passed away, and I did a long format interview with him in 2016. So we're gathering some of that material. So Joe called me. I said, "What's up, bro?" I love Joe. I kind of like you, but then I have to admit, I heard something about Channel 6, and I was half paying attention.
I didn't want to tell you, but they wanted me to take over your job and be the sports director. I just said, I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Maybe you should take Margaret Orr's gig.
That's funny you say that. I was thinking about that, but they said something. I have to go to Mississippi State and get a meteorology degree or some crap like that.
Just make it up. Just say you got one.
Well, hey, speaking of weather, we've brought this up in the past. Fletch and David Letterman have something very much in common, don't you, Fletch?
We both did weather at one time, yeah.
Yep. David Letterman was a weatherman, like in Indiana for a little while. And so was Fletcher, Mackel, and Ellick.
True. I did do it. It was not my finest TV moments, I'll say that.
Any tapes of that still?
Yeah, I mean, I've got some. I mean, the world is transitioning from the days of tape are gone. So everything is kind of like now on computers. I think there's some old tapes of me doing the weather. But
why don't you post some of that on Twitter?
We are in a digital age.
Why don't you post some of that on Twitter?
Yeah, probably not. So
I got to get those. I'm gonna have to bribe
it's
Travers
to the point where like there's bad, funny bad, and then there's just bad that's embarrassing, awful, go away forever bad.
Yeah,
and that me doing the weather is like it never needs to see the light of day again.
No, I fully get it. I when Kobe Bryant passed away, I had a Kobe Bryant interview from like 20 years ago, and I played. I was like, God, I didn't sound too much different than I do now. But I was like 4 years into it. The month one, first 6 months doing talk radio, I would not want to play that. What I mean. Like, it would just be bad, and I'd be embarrassed, and it'd be people laughing at me, not with me.
Right. Like I'll say this. I mean, look, like you said, you've grown in 20. I mean, I've been at WDSU now 21 years. I can go back to my first reports in 2002 and kind of smirk and think, boy, I've gotten better, I've grown, I've matured, but they're not awful. They're a young reporter doing his best.
You can show them.
Fine. Right. I mean, look, I graduated from Loyola in May. I was on TV in Alexandria, Louisiana, and Central Louisiana in my first job in August, and I'm doing weather, which I've never done or been trained in September. Again, just what you said, it was not exactly, it's not even to the point where it's like funny. It's like, it's cringeworthy bad.
Yeah, I may have to, now that we're talking about this, I may have to go up in the closet and burn those tapes. Like I don't want to listen to that.
I must find them.
No, exactly. Oh,
right.
I don't know if this is a good segue, Fletch, according to the radio book, but we were talking about weather. Carl Weathers. Oh boy, that was pretty weak. New Orleans own Carl Weathers, St. Aug grad. Most folks know him as Apollo Creed. I saw on Twitter you had some stuff posted. You just mentioned you sat and interviewed him. It was supposed to be 3-4 minutes, ended up being 45 minutes. You guys talked about a lot of stuff, and it's easy to talk to Carl Weathers. I would imagine. We grew up with Carl Weathers.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was one of those things. I mean, really sad. I mean, obviously, condolences to his family and friends. Obviously, we grew up in the Rocky era. And so Apollo Creed was obviously a huge figure in the cinematic world when we were kids, because the Rocky movies were, to me, just a fantastic franchise and one of the greatest franchises ever. But you're talking about a guy who did comedy with Happy Gilmore, drama, action star, Action Jackson. Force 10 from Navarone. I mean, this is a guy whose body of work over nearly 5 decades is fantastic. And so in 2016, he had a brand new show on NBC, part of that Chicago family of shows on NBC. And he was the star of it. It was called Chicago Justice. And so the TV station, my boss at the time said, look, he's a New Orleanian. Obviously, he's a former NFL player. He's a great actor. NBC's offering the chance to go out there, interview him. And so we need somebody, and I'm picking you. I was like, oh, my God, this is amazing. What a great trip. And we were supposed to get 5 minutes. He's making the rounds, to a lot of national, regional, local media outlets. And when he found out I was from New Orleans, he sat down with me. In 5 minutes, he told the people, look, no time on this one. We're going to talk until we're ready. And, I mean, just could not have been, more courteous, gracious, nice, like a real conversation. I was, like, worried with notes. Sometimes, obviously, I talk a lot. Sometimes my questions have a long hang time. I was like, I got to get it out quick because we only have 5 minutes. And he was like, no, he's like, and I heard you're from New Orleans. I made sure they carved out extra time for this. He could not have been any better, and was just kind of a great guy, talking about life and how he got where he got to. And I mean, really, it was just fantastic.
No, it's a pretty impressive story. I mean, he played for the Raiders, went a couple of years in the CFL, and I think just to make money. He was at San Francisco Drama School getting a master's degree. I think he had an undergraduate degree from San Diego State, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, this guy was just a grinder, working full-time and going to school full-time, knew he wanted to be an actor, and did it for about 45, 50 years. Fletch, if Carl Weathers was alive today, I'd be like, I think Carl Weathers at 76 could beat you and me up.
So I'll say this. That was the thing that blew me literally away so I interviewed him in 2016. So that was 8 years ago. So he was, 68 then?
Yeah, he's a beast.
And when I looked him up, I was like, there's just no way, because I knew he had to be close to that. But I thought, when I met him at 68 years old, he looked like, he was in such great physical shape.
Yep.
He came walking in, strapping, in great shape. And I'm like, how is this guy 68?
Exactly.
Not that 68 is crazy old, but he still looked like an athlete. Like, he still looked like a guy, not like a former athlete. Oh, yeah, you can see he's not in the shape he was when he played. This guy looked like he could still go run on the beach against Sylvester Stallone like he was in 83 in Rocky 3. And was just in fantastic shape. And so, yeah, but a really big loss when you think about what he did in his acting career. I mean, look, I watched The Mandalorian, and he's been in all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian recently, which is a fantastic TV show on Disney+.
No, it's sad. 76 years old. That's way too young. Hey, did you ask him or let him know that Action Jackson doesn't rhyme?
I didn't, but I liked Action Jackson. Craig T. Nelson. I think it was like, who was it? Was it like Vanity or Destiny? I think was the name of the
was it Apollonia or Vanity?
Apollonia. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, it's Prince, one of Prince's ladies.
Right. But I liked Action Jackson when I was a kid. And so, yeah. So like I said, and that was the funny thing. And he goes, look, I really like conversations like this. But he talked about growing up in uptown New Orleans, getting a scholarship to St. Aug, and how it changed his life. I mean, this was not like superficial answers like, I'm from New Orleans, nice to meet you, ask me about my TV show.
Yep.
This was like deep stuff about growing up in New Orleans, culture, education. He was like open and just real answers, not like, I'm just saying stuff to give you an answer and move on here. Like there was just a lot of substance to it.
See, folks, I told you Fletch knows more than sports. Not too much more, but a little bit more than sports. There's a little of it right there. All right, we'll touch on something else, since we're talking about Hollywood type stuff and the sad passing of New Orleans' own Carl Weathers at 76 years old, just way too young. Go to Fletcher's Twitter or X, and you can check out some interview he did with him about 7 years ago, and more of it will be on Channel 6 tonight and on their website, where Fletcher sat for a while with Carl Weathers in California for a one-on-one. Hey, I hear. All right, well, let me ask it this way to see how savvy you are. Do you know what the movie critic is?
It's Quentin Tarantino's next and final movie.
Wow, he doesn't miss a beat, huh, Joe? How about Fletch?
I didn't even know that. Damn.
Check out the big brain on Fletch. Fletch loves Quentin Tarantino. He has I
do. Brad Pitt's going to star in it. Quentin Tarantino said he's doing 10 movies and he'll never do another one. He's done 9. His next one is 10.
Yep.
It's called The Movie Critic. Brad Pitt's going to star in it. And let's see what it's all about.
Yep. Never say never. I think he might get, the itch down the road. But no, you're right. He's clearly said that this is his 10th and final movie. He's been hinting that the last few movies. By the way, Fletch has a life-size blow-up Quentin Tarantino doll at his house. It's kind of strange. That's for damn sure. Anyway, Fletch, hang on a second. We're going to come back and talk about some other stuff like the Super Bowl and the Saints and their own coordinator.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you all the way till 6 o'clock. A week from this Tuesday, Mardi Gras Day. A week from this Wednesday, not only Ash Wednesday, but Valentine's Day. Guys, don't blow it. I mean, if you're thinking about, oh, honey, I forgot, Mardi Gras threw me off. I don't know why you would try to make these excuses. Take care of her, the most significant person in your life. Go see Ken Friend at Friend & Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street. They have real natural diamond jewelry, not 3-week-old man-made lab-created diamonds that a lot of these diamond jewelry stores are pushing on you. Get the real deal, what she wants, real natural diamonds, diamond stud earrings, diamond tennis bracelets, diamond necklaces, even diamond engagement rings. Every price point, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. And check this out. Friend & Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street has an entire room dedicated to real natural diamonds. Real natural diamond jewelry, everything in that room under $1,000. That means for a few $100, you can walk out of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers with real natural diamonds for her for Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, a week from this Wednesday. Go see Ken Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. Get it out of the way now before the Mardi Gras craziness cranks up. Fletcher Mackel is with us. Another edition of Fridays with Fletch. Hard to get anything by Fletcher when it comes to Quentin Tarantino. He knew the movie critic. Now, I read a little bit about it, Fletch. I think the movie critic, it's based off of a woman. So I'm assuming Brad Pitt's just going to do a male version of that. I'm guessing. And then there'll be a bunch of women upset that, why didn't you have a woman do the woman's part? Anyway, maybe Brad Pitt's doing a B-roll and there's a woman that's playing the movie critic. But I doubt it. But I don't really know the details. Do you?
No, I read, look, I follow some of that stuff. So I saw where he said it's a fictitious version. He grew up in LA and was like a big movie person. And he said that it's loosely based or inspired by a movie critic in the late 1970s.
New York.
Who didn't get a ton of fanfare. I don't know if it was a male, female.
Yeah, it was a woman.
Obviously just, and I don't know if Brad Pitt is playing this character.
Right,
I just saw
me neither.
Brad Pitt has a starring role and it will be he did Inglourious Bastards and he did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So It'll be his third time starring in a Quentin Tarantino movie. But again, it doesn't mean he's the star or playing the main role. So we'll see.
You do kind of keep up on this stuff. Should you be on my show on Friday or maybe the Scoot show?
Hey, whatever people want to talk about, I try to be well versed.
Oh boy. Fridays with Fletcher. Mackel's with us. Hey, let's see how good you are, Fletch.
All right,
you know the Tropicana Hotel in Vegas, huh? Like the Flamingo, the old school casinos?
Yeah.
The Tropicana still exists. Can you believe that?
No, really. I know they tore down like the Sands and a lot of those old hotels to build the new mega hotels and everything on the Strip or by the Strip. So
that's right.
I'm curious. Like, I know the Flamingo still exists. I didn't know the Tropicana still exists.
The Tropicana is not going to exist soon. They're tearing it down. You know why they're tearing it down? Clearing up that space? Hint, hint.
Buying the Oakland A's are going there.
Kaboom goes the dynamite. You can't get anything by Fletch on a Friday. Yep, that's going to be the new A's ballpark.
Right.
Ding, ding, ding.
You know, this kind of bums me out a little bit, Fletch. First off, I'm blown away. Like, the Orioles are $1.7 billion. Like, the Pelicans are worth more than the Baltimore Orioles. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And then Angelo buys them for like $173 million 20 years ago. They should be worth like $3 billion today. They're worth like $1.7 billion. That blows me away for starters. But secondly, the baseball stadium's going to be like 30,000 seats. You know, it's like almost New Orleans could support that almost. You know what I mean? It's first off, I didn't think Major League Baseball teams were worth so little. Second, I can't believe that they're going to allow a 30,000 seat stadium. You remember a decade ago, 20 years ago, all the new stadiums, they're all, they downsized from the big multi-football baseball parks like Three Rivers and Riverfront. They weren't 60, 70,000 seats anymore. Cleveland, the mistake on the lake. They're not 70,000 checking out the Indians or whatever they are now. But they were still 38, 42, 45, 47,000, This is weird to me that 30 grand in Vegas, full attendance. And I was shocked that the Baltimore Orioles are only worth $1.7 billion.
Before I start, I just want to point out that unlike the intro and unlike some weeks when I do this show, I have aced your quiz and got all your questions right and am hanging on every word. When normally I'm only sort of paying attention to you and just trying to get through this. So I just wanted to give myself a little pat on the back there, Joe.
Well, no. Also, I noticed you chuckled and laughed at some of my jokes, which are always funny. So that's a barometer. That's a barometer where you're not paying attention when I tell good jokes and you're not even laughing.
I feel like I'm storing up a lot of credit here because I'm fully engaged in this radio Fridays with Fletch segment.
Yep. But before you go on, but while we're talking about this, Joe and I've decided you need to have a better finish. You're really bad on the way out. Seriously. Okay. Like we're always hey, Fletch, thanks a lot. And you're like, okay, you're welcome. Geez, and what the wind's out the balloon. He just deflated. Okay, man. Bye. Just nothing. Hey, I appreciate being on the show. None of that. Not the same level. Okay. I'd like to see you on Channel 6. Fletch, thanks for that report. Yeah, okay.
All right, I'm going to have tell me when we're going to finish, and I'm going to give you, I think it's a funny finish. You let me know if it works when we finish and when, like, in your next hour.
This is fantastic, Joe. You know what this is? This is like the bad weather forecast that you do laugh at, that it's funny. He thinks he's got a joke. We are going to laugh at how bad the joke is.
We'll see. So let me ask you a question now. So getting back to the Vegas A's, leaving Oakland, going to Vegas, I don't think that's out of the ordinary. I know what you're saying is that there was once upon a time, even baseball stadiums were big. But here's the thing. I think what baseball teams learned is we play 162 of these things.
Yep.
We play 81 at home. Like the Miami Marlins got a new stadium mostly funded by the state of Florida, 35,000 seats.
LSU outdraws the Marlins and the Tampa Bay Rays, just generally speaking.
But here's the thing. Like, when you look at, like, venerable old places like Fenway and Wrigley, obviously I think there was a time in the 80s and 90s when new stadiums were coming online that it was, like, bigger, better, but now people can watch on TV, on their phones, on their apps. I think for a sport like baseball, it should be something like 30 to 35,000. That's perfect size for what baseball needs. You don't need, and look, if the Las
This
Vegas
is 30. This is like the Buffalo Bison's minor league team. This is 30,000 on the dot, the smallest stadium in Major League Baseball. I mean, I don't even think Fenway was ever just 30.
Right, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I hear you. It's just small.
But even minor league baseball, like the Shrine on Airline was 10 or 12. Now, minor league baseball is doing it right. Like Biloxi is 5,000. Pensacola is there's no reason for these massive stadiums that, besides a playoff game every now and then, sit half empty.
But what I'm getting at is we could almost pull off baseball. I never thought of New Orleans as a baseball market, and maybe we still aren't. But when you could have a 30,000 seat stadium, I'm like, well, maybe we could have, Now we're still way behind the Nashvilles, the Charlottes, these other cities that don't have teams. We're not getting Major League Baseball. I'm not insinuating that, but the Vegas thing almost seems like we could have pulled that gimmick off.
Let me just follow that up by saying this. Is that I do think eventually the Pelicans are going to need a new arena, and be it on the riverfront, be it right next to where they are now, so they can potentially play and build a new one in that same footprint or in one of those parking lots.
Yep.
I don't think they should go bigger. There's no reason for the Pelicans to have in New Orleans.
No, just more premium and more high end and more plush and more nice.
Right. My thing is this: right now, if the Smoothie King Center seats 17.5 max capacity, I would be fine with the state-of-the-art 15,000 seats with tons of the seating in the lower bowl, more suites, more amenities. You don't need anything bigger than 15,000.
No, you're right.
And look, and here's the thing. And if the team makes the playoffs and the seats are at a premium, good. The prices are higher. It's a better atmosphere. Don't build it for 20 when you have a hard time filling 17 on some nights. Make it 15. I think what Vegas is doing with baseball is smart. There's no reason to have a 50,000 seat stadium if you're going to average 25 per game.
Yeah.
I think they've gotten smarter with building these stadiums, so I like that.
Hey, Fletch, generally speaking, I'm just talking just very broad in general. You're a sports guy. I'm a talk radio guy. We're not investment people. If you can double your money every 7 years, you're doing pretty well. Gail Benson with the Pelicans, the Saints, Tom Benson with the Saints, doing all that, great investment. The Angelos family and the Baltimore Orioles, not such a great investment. They've gone up 10 times in value in 30 years. That's not that great. Aren't you shocked, or were you not shocked? When I heard the Baltimore Orioles were selling for $1.7 billion, I'm like, the Pelicans are worth maybe more than the Orioles? The Baltimore Orioles? That's a legendary Major League Baseball team. Name alone seems like they should be worth $2.5, $3 billion at least.
Yeah, and I would just say it shows the health and the future potential growth. The NBA is on the rise and has been on the rise. Passed up baseball long ago. I mean, the NFL is off the charts. Football is America's pastime. The NFL is the greatest sports property in the world.
Hold that thought. I got to hit this 48 after break. Yeah, $16 billion in revenue with the NFL. Pick it up on the other side, Fletch.
Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa, and now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
What actually lasts a lifetime? Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yeah, you right. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. It's another edition of Fridays with Fletch. And now we haven't brought up his motorized bicycle. He sold the diesel Mercedes. He's got a new used car. He's moving on up in the world. Anyway, Fletch, please continue what you were saying before I rudely cut you off.
Thank you for sharing all the details of my life. What's it called? What I was saying.
He's a mid-city resident living a block or two from the bayou.
That's true. What's it called? I'm going to go for a jog after this. You may see me on the bayou. So what was I going to say though? Oh no. So to me, it shows, look, NBA football is off the charts. I mean, when the Commanders were selling for like $6 and $7 billion,
yep.
You see and somebody always told me this, judge the health of a league by the teams that are for sale. If nobody wants to sell them, it's a pretty healthy league that is only ascending. There's no football teams for sale right now. There's no basketball teams for sale right now. The last one that popped up was the Phoenix Suns, and Matt Ishbia, the .com or the hedge fund guy, bought it for $4 billion for the Phoenix Suns, which is crazy. But still, it shows how valuable those assets are. What you said, the Baltimore Orioles for sale, storied franchise, tons of history, $1.7 billion. Look, $1.7 billion is awesome. I get it. You want more growth than what that league has seen in the last 3 decades. It's still pretty amazing growth that he bought it for $100 million and it's now almost $2 billion. But nonetheless, baseball is not on par or even close to being on par with the NFL or the NBA. It is clearly the third major sports franchise in North America.
Yep.
And when you look at what teams are selling for, that's what it is. That's what it says about it.
A couple of the top MLS teams are more valuable than the bottom Major League Baseball teams. Major League Soccer's top 2 or 3 teams are worth more than Major League Baseball's bottom 2 or 3 teams. That's sort of interesting.
I think you're right. And again, I think some of those teams are propped up. I do think that
you're right.
Baseball is more valuable of an entity overall. But look, when David Beckham's Inter Miami brings in Messi and they get TV deals, and what he did to that franchise was insane. And so, but I do think soccer is on the come up. And look, I played baseball. I love baseball. But baseball has dealt with major issues in the last few years and is still dealing with it and still figuring it out. And we have a clear 1, 2, 3 now of I remember when I was growing up, baseball was the king of kings. The NFL was on par with the NBA and trying to break past them. Then the NFL moved up and NBA was 3. Well, in the last 30 years, the shift has gone. NFL is the king of kings. NBA is clearly a strong number 2. Baseball is in third place, trailing those two. And it may be another 3 decades before anything shifts.
Hey, Fletch, you mentioned the Saints have a new offensive coordinator, I guess all unofficially. What is it, the quarterback's coach, offensive something or other with the Niners?
Yeah, Clint Kubiak, who's the passing game coordinator for the 49ers and will be playing with his team in Super Bowl 58 coming up in Las Vegas.
Is that Gary Kubiak's kid?
It's Gary Kubiak's son. His father was a longtime backup quarterback to John Elway, former head coach of the Texans, former head coach of the Broncos, who won a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. His son is now going to be the Saints offensive coordinator. On paper, it looks like a good hire. The Niners under Shanahan have a very creative offense. His coaching tree has produced guys like Mike McDaniel with the Dolphins, who's innovative, Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, who's innovative. So the coach, on paper, it looks good. Now, the games aren't played on paper, but on paper, it looks like a good hire for the New Orleans Saints.
How about this Super Bowl? I guess before that, the AFC-NFC title game. Boy, Detroit, that was just heartbreaking. And Baltimore and Lamar Jackson, they seemed like the most complete team, offense, defense, body of work. Can't get over the hump with Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City is a juggernaut.
Yep.
Kansas City, they're the New England. I mean, again, Mahomes and Reed are unstoppable. And I did feel bad for the Lions. I mean, look, 24-7 to blow that lead in the second half. Kudos to the Niners, but I'm heartbroken for Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, 2 good coaches, good guys. Detroit's never been to the Super Bowl in the modern era. It would have just been a fantastic story. But here we are, Kansas City, San Francisco rematch from 4 or 5 years ago.
Mahomes has no weakness. You saw Brady's career. You're like, no one's going to top this. And Mahomes is topping it, at least so far. I mean, he could have retired a year or 2 ago, and he's going to the Hall of Fame. I've never seen someone go from 0 to the NFL Hall of Fame as quick as Pat Mahomes. I don't know what he can't do. I mean, he can throw it from the pocket and he can run. He's smart. He fully understands everything that's going on the field. I mean, he's like a coach on the field. He's a winner. He's got a good attitude. I've never seen an NFL player like this, Fletch. I mean, Pat Mahomes is beyond special. If he can just do another body of work of what he's done so far, he's the greatest player of all time.
If he stays healthy, he's going to be the greatest quarterback ever. I mean, look, Brady's the greatest ever. There's no argument. The Super Bowls, the records, the longevity. Brady's the greatest ever. And I love Peyton Manning. 5 MVPs. Nobody's ever done that. I say Peyton's number 2. Brady's the greatest ever. Mahomes is going to be the great. If he doesn't deal with a career-threatening injury or setback, when he's done playing, he's going to be the greatest in the history.
He might be 3 or 4 right now.
He's probably. I would say he's clearly in the top 10. You can probably make the top 5.
Definitely. I think he's in the top 5. There's Blue Boy. Blue Boy's saying, thank you, Fletch.
All right, Corey. Remember, real quick, The Sopranos ended? They just faded to black?
Yep.
All right, here you go.
There he goes. What was the song? Don't stop believing.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson. On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson.
Susan Spicer joining us on the program.
Even when they presented me the award, the people that I look up to the most, Frank was there and Donald Link was there. It does cause you to reflect back and think about your whole career.
Maybe the Celebrenin Award says that to you, like I've arrived.
It certainly is kind of the ultimate honor when it comes to cooking and hospitality in New Orleans and the world.
New Orleans style talk gumbo, served daily.
Doesn't get much better than that, huh?
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your color so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh, Lord, Lord, my move. That's what I said. Ooh, Ooh, Leidenheimer. That's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Anytime you need a payment, good time. Anytime you need a free, good time. Anytime you're out from under, not getting hassled, not getting hustled, keeping your head above water, making a way when you can.
Temporary layoffs.
Good time.
Easy credit ripoffs.
Good time.
Scratching and surviving.
Good time.
Now, this is hanging in a chow line, even though it sounds like hanging in a toilet. It is actually hanging in a chow line. This is Small Sliders. Can I help you? Is that really Drew Brees at the Small Sliders on Vets in Clearview? I'll take a dozen sliders. I am so not fired up about Small Sliders. I cannot not wait to go there. I really am just so anxious to never be standing there ever, and we'll never go through the drive-thru of Small Sliders. No offense. I'm not knocking. I'm sure a lot of you are going to Small Sliders. Why would I care about Small Sliders? Drew Brees' best damn slider. That's like best hot dog. It's like, really? Okay. It's going to be very successful. They're all over the place. They're booming. I don't know. Maybe one day, Joe, something might happen where I accidentally stumble into a Small Slider. Look, I'm a New Orleanian. When Subway came to New Orleans, I was like, what? Like 30 years ago? I'm like, we're a po' boy town. So Subways work, obviously, and they're just nasty. I've never eaten Subway. One time, 1990 at LSU, I was cutting grass with a guy with a summer job when I was at summer school. We went to Subway, and I ate about half of it and thought it was terrible. I've never been to Subway. On Government Street in Baton Rouge, 1990, last time I've been to Subway. Anyway, I don't get how some of this stuff works. I went to Five Guys. It's not like it's bad. It's just not very good. It wasn't like
fine.
It's fine, but it doesn't make me want to go to Five Guys. I went to Shake Shack, just like Five Guys. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. Now, I went to Atomic Burger, and I thought the same thing. Someone told me, no, dude, give Atomic Burger another try. So supposedly Atomic Burger on Vets is better than Five Guys or Shake Shack. But I don't know. I go to these places like one time. If I'm not like, damn, that was good, I really want to go back. I
remember seeing Raisin Cane's the first time, being like, how is this going to succeed? It's chicken fingers.
Exactly.
This is little kid
food.
Well,
that's why Six Banks said, I'm not giving you the money, dude. He's only worth about $7 billion now. Oh, someone was mentioning to me the other day, why doesn't Cane's do grilled for the women? What am I, dude? Stop. I'm in agreement with you. Onion rings. Why don't they do breakfast? The guy's killing it. It is an insane success story because it's basic and simple, I guess. No one's complaining. They don't need spicy or mild. They don't need to add anything to the menu. They're doing just fine. I'm wrong. You're wrong. The banks were wrong. The Cane's guy's right. He's got over 700 of them. He owns 90+%. It's not publicly traded. He owns 90+% of 700+ locations. He's worth about $6 or $7 billion. It's crazy. The flagship Cane's on Highland Road in West State, that was Mandy's Conoco station. I used to bring my car there for like oil change. I used to walk right by Mandy's Conoco. I knew Mandy. Mandy knew me. Her dad would sit out. He'd have a big old 40 in a brown paper bag. He was like retired. Mandy, the daughter, took over, and he'd be rebuilding carburetors at one of those like tables you can roll around. And he'd be sitting on a stool drinking a 40. He was about 70 years old. I'm like, good for him. It was his Conoco. He got his daughter running it. Unbelievable. That's the flagship, the mothership, as they call it. Now they're 700 plus. No, you know how much Cane's is for me, Joe? $19.44 now. $19.44. I get a Caniac combo and I get an extra finger because I get them naked. I don't get the batter on them. I get them naked. I know people are like, what are you talking about, dude? It's fried chicken still. Just don't get all that batter. It's funny when you see me like, where's the tender? They're like, the batter's 50% of the tender. It's crazy. Literally. It's like 50%. And it's my order's $19.44 at a fast food place for just me. I get 7 tenders, fries, and a Coke. It's $19.44. Your boy Chad in Elmwood knows me. We're about the same age. They know me because I get them naked. Sometimes they forget to let up on the button. It's a naked guy. And they're like laughing and making fun of me, kind of. Like, whatever. Anyway, thank you, Joe, for sending us off on that Raising Cane's Fantastic Friday chat. Anyway, it is a Fantasy Friday. I think I was saying I won't be going to Small Sliders. A gorgeous weather day, gorgeous weather Friday, absolutely incredible weather. It continues into the evening, so get outside and enjoy. It's going to be cool and crisp and nice tonight. Tomorrow morning should be fine. Tomorrow after lunch, around lunch, north of lunch, we're going to get rain into tomorrow night. But Sunday's supposed to be clear. So 4 days ago, the weekend was a washout. Saturday and Sunday, both heavy rain. It was like, oh my God, all the parades. And then this just bums me out. I'm not part of a crew, but the people that are, they plan it all year long. It's one day, it's one afternoon or one evening, and it gets rained out. That just sucks. Tuesday, I'm driving earlier this week around. I'm like, I'm working. And I'm like, it's a gorgeous day. How about rain today and not on Saturday? Well, we're getting a little bit of a reprieve. The rain will start after lunch. So instead of parades starting after lunch and into the afternoon, they've just moved them down. There's going to be 9:30 start of the first parade instead of like 12:30. And then the next few following that 9:30 start, I think the latest starts like 12:15. So they're pushing everything Saturday from afternoon to morning, basically. And then it's going to rain Saturday afternoon, Saturday night expected. Sunday's supposed to be really nice. So that's a big plus. Governor Jeff Landry down at the Texas-Mexico border. Why? Abbott's not coming to Grand Isle, I can promise you, worrying about our coast, but our governor's going to Texas because of illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. You know what's funny? A lot of you folks in Louisiana that voted for Landry that, are politically hardcore right, you're like, good, I like that. The illegal alien thing's a big problem. Jeff Landry's the governor of Louisiana. No one from Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, or California is ever going to come to Louisiana worrying about our vanishing coastline. So Jeff Landry going to the Texas-Mexico border is pure political nonsense. It's a soap opera. It's a joke. What do they call the soap operas, the Latino soap operas? A novella? Is it a novella? It's a big novella, Joe. It's a big novella. Is that what it is? Latino soap opera? What's it called, Joe?
Telenovelas.
Yeah, novella. Yep. That's what that is. It's a soap opera. It's a joke. His supporters, his base, eating it up. Go, more power to you. Yeah, that really helps infrastructure in Louisiana. Crime, schools, education, economic opportunity. It has nothing to do with his job as governor in Louisiana. But you folks like it, and that's weird to me. Because Abbott ain't coming nowhere near our coast, and that's not cool. It's weird. I don't get it. Does Texas care about our vanishing coast for a minute? New Orleans' own Carl Weathers, St. Aug grad, New Orleans native, passing away at just 76 years old, way too young. And he looked like he was 50, in shape. Just a sad story. Carl Weathers, known mostly as Apollo Creed, but a bunch of other roles, passing away at 76 years old. Just sad. Hey, coming up in a few minutes, talking food with Frank Brigtsen. That's right. We're going to the Riverbend, the Carrollton section of Uptown. Frank Brigtsen's going to join us next. Coming up in about 15 minutes, Michael Hecht from Greater New Orleans, Inc. Yeah, you right. A lot to discuss. Corey Johnson with you on a gorgeous Fantasy Friday edition of the program. I picked up a to-go order from Lebanon's Cafe today for lunch. Chicken shawarma, a little tabbouleh, a fried football kibbe, some of that pita bread. Fantastic. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette. Some of the city's finest Middle Eastern food. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette. They're open, by the way, till 9:30. 7 days a week, 11 a.m., straight through the day till 9:30. Outdoor dining, Lebanon's Cafe. You won't be disappointed. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you right. You missed the 4 o'clock hour. We had a good time with Fletcher Mackel. Coming up next, Frank Brigtsen talking food. What's cooking? Don't move.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, hey, what can I do to give you a hand? He said, well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place. So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread. There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSAgency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Absolutely gorgeous weather. Get outside and enjoy it. Today was beautiful. I mean, this morning it was high 40s, low 50s. It was cold. And then just immediately started warming up like at a quick rate. Like if you were like staring at a digital thermometer, you might have seen the numbers moving. It went from like 50 to 60 in about an hour. And then it went to 60, feels like 70 in about another hour. Just a really gorgeous day. Now it's starting to cool down. Get outside, enjoy it, drop some coals, boil some seafood, fry some catfish. Get outside, enjoy the yard, enjoy the weather. Or maybe there's an opening at Brigtsen's in the Riverbend. Let's go to the Carrollton section of Uptown. Frank Brigtsen joins us from his restaurant. What you say, Frank?
Corey, TGIF.
Thank goodness, huh?
Yeah, what a beautiful Friday it is here in New Orleans.
Hey, guess what's coming up a week from this Tuesday, Frank?
What?
I think The Godfather's playing on Epix. I was just letting you know. I know you like the Godfather movie. They're going to play Godfather 1 and 2. Anyway, thanks, Frank. We'll talk to you next week. A week from Tuesday, they call it Mardi Gras. Can you believe it already, Frank?
It's holiday season in New Orleans.
Yep. What does that mean as we go from January into February? I know Mardi Gras varies based off of Easter, but for you, cooking for 40 plus years at 38 plus years at Brigtsen's and about 55 years total. Sorry, Frank. What do you think about as January fades into February? What's coming into season? What's going out of season? What are we about to maybe embrace?
Well, I think what we're really feeling and going to feel is the lack of crawfish, and that's really sad to me. Typically, Mardi Gras is one of the benchmark holidays for boiled crawfish, for instance, Easter being the biggest.
Yep.
But I'm not sure that's going to happen. The crop looks really pitiful this year because of, nature.
The drought.
The drought last summer, and it's just what it is. And so, we're using scallops, oysters, shrimp. There's always something to play with.
Yep.
But I'm sure going to miss my crawfish.
No. And when the governor is, getting in touch with the Fed saying we need some money to subsidize these crawfish farmers, what you're saying is true.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know he was doing that. But
yeah.
I'm glad he's stepping up.
Yep. Got to take care of the farmers, but it sucks.
Yeah, it's such an important part of our culture and our economy. And, these are not big corporations. These are individuals, family farms. They need help. Let's try and get it to them.
Yep. What is cooking? What is on the menu tonight at Brigtsen's?
Well, we got some beautiful flounder fillets in this week, Corey. I know you like that.
Yeah.
We used either speckled trout or flounder for our Meunier dish, and the speckled trout died off a little bit, so the flounder is happening.
Where do you get the flounder? From your West Bank guy?
No, this is Mississippi mostly, some from the East Coast.
Nice.
Yeah, and beautiful fillets. We serve a 5 to 6 ounce fillet, and they're very thin, and they get a lot of crispiness on the outside. So like hotcakes last night, I was plating up 5 at a time.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's really nice to have back.
That thin part's so key, Frank. I a steak fish like tuna, that's one thing. It's a steak fish, but a fillet, I don't like when the redfish or the flounder or the speckled trout, where it gets like, I don't know, maybe like an inch and a half thick on one end. Right. I don't like that. I like that.
I agree.
Not paper thin, but like, I don't know, a quarter of an inch thick, something like that.
Yeah, particularly for this preparation. And if you think about it, the classic dish in French cuisine is Dover sole à la manière. And Dover sole is a flat fish, like a flounder. So this really makes sense. And I think it's more popular than the trout, believe it or not. It's when people here locally think of flounder, they think of Brunings, the old stuffed flounder.
Yep. The doormat.
Yeah, but it fillets beautifully. And you actually get 2 nice or 4 smaller fillets off of a flounder because it's top and bottom, left and right. But they're gorgeous, and I'm so happy to have that back. So we'll just have to enjoy other things now.
Now, Frank,
crawfish will be available. They're just going to be very expensive.
Yep. Now, I those 4 fish we mentioned, I love them all. Honestly, I don't know if you just gave me the bite where I didn't see the fillet. I don't know if I could tell you the difference. Obviously, if you're eating flounder, speckled trout, or drum or redfish, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, I know you can.
I've been in many restaurants in Florida where I always get like the grouper.
Yeah, that's their thing. Grouper on the panhandle's their number one thing. Yeah,
that's the catch-all name, but it's always triggerfish.
Wow.
I know it is. I'm not saying anything, but I know it is.
Wow. That's
and I
interesting.
love triggerfish.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. But but I think, you're right about fish. You got to have certain fish for certain preparations. If it's a thicker fish, like you mentioned, you might like it grilled or broiled. But it's up to you.
Yep.
We got our king cake bread pudding rolling, which I brought one home last night. Well, Marna and I each had one. It was so delicious. My niece told us she had one earlier in the week, Sophie, and she said, you need to just put this bread pudding on the menu all the time. Just take off the Mardi Gras colored sugars. It's so good. And it really is. It's, kind of a classic bread pudding itself, but it's served with a cream cheese sauce. And on top, instead of whipped cream, there's we pipe Italian meringue, which is a cooked meringue that has a smooth, silky mouthfeel to it. And then we hit it with a torch and brulee it a little bit.
Wow.
And it is texturally and taste-wise a knockout dish. So that'll be on the menu through Carnival, and maybe after, who knows?
Sweet. Frank Brigtsen's with us. We do it every single Friday afternoon around 5:20, 10 minutes or so, talking food with James Beard award-winning chef Frank Brigtsen. Hey, Frank, you got that couple we talk about. They're in there tonight. Come in every Friday night. They order the same thing. I'm kind of a creature of habit. Hard for me to get off the chicken and andouille gumbo. Hard for me to get off the barbecue shrimp. Hard for me to get off the flounder pecan. Hard for me to get off the pecan pie for a dessert. Are there any things on your menu where you're locked in, where you're 38 years, never tired of these dishes, always get them, they're my go-to, they're my favorite, or are you just bouncing around all the time?
Well, for me, the gumbo is number one. I eat that, 3 times a week. I never ever get tired of it.
No, it's incredible.
Yeah, it is. And that with a loaf of French bread. I'm allergic to shrimp, so I don't have the butternut shrimp bisque on my list or the barbecue shrimp.
I did not know you're allergic to shrimp.
I am. We do not open our doors if we don't have butternut shrimp bisque on the menu. It's got to be there.
Now, are you just allergic to shrimp? No other crustaceans?
No, just shrimp.
What do you think it is? Iodine? What is it?
Yes, iodine.
Wow.
It was an adult onset thing. It really got bad in my 40s, and that's when I really had to stop.
Yeah, that's when you realized what it was.
Yeah. And in my 20s, I was a prep cook, peeling 40 pounds of shrimp a day. My hands would itch and stuff.
Wow.
So I knew I had a sensitivity, but in my 40s, I just had to get away from it.
That's unbelievable.
Okay. I had enough for one lifetime.
Yeah, I'll eat your barbecue shrimp for you. I'll pull the slack for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So it is beautiful today. Tomorrow looks a little wet. Sunday's going to bounce back with a beautiful day for the real start of carnival season, the Crew of Carrollton Sunday. The Crew of Carrollton is celebrating their 100th anniversary this year. Isn't that remarkable?
That is. That's incredible.
And that was a neighborhood parade, started in my neighborhood.
Yep.
My Uncle Wally was in Crew of Carrollton decades ago. It's a great group of fellas, and they put on a beautiful show. So Sunday, think about that, y'all. And if you want to come out and eat during the parade week, come see us. We get people that come after the parade, but since we open at 5 o'clock now, you can come catch us before the parade. So either way is good. And then we have other people that just don't go to the parade, so they got the whole place to themselves. So,
well, what's great about Brigtsen's, it's amazing, actually. There can be a Super Bowl in town. There can be the Pope visiting. It can be Mardi Gras Day. It can be Mardi Gras week. It doesn't matter. You're in a quiet little part of town that never, ever changes. It's easy to get to. People are like, man, you're way up, jammed up by the river. It's like Carrollton Avenue off of Claiborne is easy. Metairie folks, if you get to River Road and Causeway, you're 5 minutes away, literally. Earhart Expressway. I mean, it's easy to get to Brigtsen's, and there's nothing around it as far as, congestion, traffic, events, stuff like that.
Plus free parking.
Yep, in the Dante Village.
Parking, but we also have the Dante Village parking lot. Yep. There's always space available, just steps away from the door. It's a good getaway spot, I think, if you want to get away from Carnival for some reason.
It is. It is. The city, the little town of Carrollton, the Riverbend area, is like a little haven.
I love it. I really do. It's one of the main reasons I chose that spot, because it's accessible, but it's quiet and tucked away.
Yep, it is. Frank, you got any openings tonight or tomorrow night at Brigtsen's?
We might have a little something tomorrow if you want to call. Marna's on the phone right now. I think in the late season you might find a deuce or two. But don't hesitate to give us a call. Things like Carnival will surely change people's plans. We'll get visitors that come in, they're staying downtown, they make a reservation, and then they call and say, we can't make it, we can't cross Canal Street. Not realizing that that's true. So don't hesitate to call, because people's plans change.
I'm listening to Marna one day. It's hysterical. I'm picking up a to-go order. She answers the phone. Brigtsen's? Yes. What day? How many? For 5:30? Oh, y'all aren't going to come at 5:30. No, you won't. You won't be coming at 5:30. Thank you very much, and hangs up on him. I'm like, what the hell was that? She's like, Jazz Fest. These people think they're going to leave Jazz Fest and come eat at 5:30 when Jazz Fest goes till 7. They're not coming here at 5:30. No. They're going to stay at Jazz Fest. She knew the whole deal, and it's so casual and not even pulse racing. She's just like, I'm just telling you how it is, Corey. These people aren't going to leave Jazz Fest. 7:30 reservation, different story.
That's why I like to do the reservations by the phone.
It was hysterical.
First time at a Jazz Fest, we're going to come eat at 7. No, you're not.
Exactly.
You're going to be at Acura stage at 7 o'clock walking out. How about an 8:30?
that same night, I was chatting with a couple in the hallway on a two-top. They had just arrived from out of town. It was their first stop. They were in for a week. They were mentioning some other places, and they're all pretty good. I think they had a Bayona and Irene's or something in there. Like, you're doing good. And I was like, said, you might have wanted to make Brigtsen's the last stop. I'm like, making it the first stop might not have been the best thing. I go, you're going to be comparing everything to this, It's just, It was funny.
That happens too. We get that comment.
Yeah, but they loved it. And they were from like Los Angeles and had just flown in.
Nice.
Yep. And had their reservation all set and everything. Hey, Frank, anything we're missing? To-go orders? You got a slot open tomorrow night or two? 861-7610's the phone number. 861-7610 or online, Brigtsens with an S.com. Missing anything,
That's
Frank?
it, buddy. Y'all have a great weekend. We love you, New Orleans.
See you next Friday when it's 100 hours till Mardi Gras, Frank.
Let's do this thing. I'll be calling from the neutral ground.
I like that. You'll be calling from the neutral ground on the neutral ground. Thanks,
There
Frank.
you go. All right, Corey.
Yeah, you're right. Frank Brigtsen, James Beard award-winning chef, joining us from his great restaurant. Just fantastic food. And even though it is a super high-end restaurant, it's not high-end prices. Seriously. I mean, I'm glad Frank's not on hold anymore and he's gone. He's in the kitchen, I guess, cooking. But I would raise prices at Brigtsen's like $2 or $3 on every appetizer and probably $5 to $8 on every entree. Just because I think it's sort of slightly underpriced. I mean, almost. It's really just totally fair. Especially what you get and how high-end it is and how great it is. Boy, one thing, I mean, it is a major catch-22. Frank was talking about neighborhood parades. It is a major catch-22. You want to be on the St. Charles Avenue route because it's the legendary route and it's full of people. But I miss the neighborhood parades. When I was a kid, it was neighborhood parades. We would go to like Ferret. It went uptown, but it lined up on Ferret by like Loyola and Tulane and came up Ferret to Napoleon. Hence the name. Now Ferret lines up, I guess, on Tchoupitoulas or Claiborne and comes up Napoleon. Isn't even on the street that bears its name. Pontchartrain used to be out on Hain Boulevard in the east. Pontchartrain, Lake Pontchartrain, now it runs in Uptown. We used to go down to Chalmette, the Jupiter Parade in Chalmette. Where I grew up, out by UNO, Gentilly, the lakefront, Lakeview area. We had a Saturday parade. What was Saturday? The women's parade. Pandora. And then we had Monday night, Hercules. Pandora went through Gentilly, went down by UNO, down Leon C. Simon. Hercules came down Paris Avenue, all the way into Lake Terrace, almost to the lakefront by the Mardi Gras fountain, or that Lake Terrace fountain, not the Mardi Gras fountain. Came up Paris Avenue. So you had all these, neighborhood parades that paraded in specific neighborhoods. Carrollton was a mid-city parade. Okeanos used to go down Rampart, right in front of Armstrong Park by the French Quarter on Rampart. It was cool. You had to know the parade route, and you'd go to that neighborhood to watch that parade. Now it's all Napoleon, St. Charles, Uptown, and I get it. It's a great street. It's historic. They've got enough parades. I wish we'd kind of revert back to the neighborhood parades, but I'm sure we get policing shortages and got to patrol 2 or 3 areas at one time. You're going to have the Pontchartrain parade out on Hain Boulevard at 11:30, and then at 2:30 in the afternoon, you're going to have Carrollton, in Mid-City, and then at 4 in the afternoon, you have Okeanos on Rampart. I guess that's the reasoning. Coupled with everyone wants to be on the St. Charles Avenue route. But as a Yaddy New Orleanian, as a kid growing up here, and all the neighborhood parades, that was just cool. I remember in high school, we would head to Bonneville and Vets because, what was it, Argus or Atlas? Atlas, I think, it was one of the first parades. So we'd hit the Metairie. I'm an Orleans Parish guy. We'd go to Metairie, Bonneville and Vets, and catch Atlas. It was one of the parades in the beginning. It was different neighborhoods, different spots. Jupiter on Judge Perez, Hain Boulevard, Pontchartrain. You catching these parades in different neighborhoods. It was just great. sitting on Rampart as Okeanos rolls down the street, or Toth, or wherever they were. And then just, if you lived in a neighborhood, you knew every Mardi Gras there was going to be at least a parade in or near your neighborhood. I mean, even for me, out by that UNO area, not one but two parades. Pandora on a Saturday afternoon. I remember they had the gold doubloon and the silver, and you had to get the pink. Those were the rare ones, the pink one, to complete the set. And then I think the Hercules parade, I want to say it was a purple Hercules doubloon to complete the set with the silver and the gold. And those, silver and gold were 90% of the doubloons, and the purple Hercules, the green Pandora, the pink Pandora was 5-10% of all doubloons. As a kid, you're like, "Hey, throw me a pink one." Be so happy to complete the set. No, it's just great that Mardi Gras came to your neighborhood, and people from around the city, some of them, would come to your neighborhood to check out the parade. But more people on the St. Charles Avenue route, more throws, more junk, all that. I don't know. I'd like to go back to neighborhood parades. And then my second Mardi Gras gimmick, we've got to 86 China out of the loop. Like, no Chinese imports for Mardi Gras, nothing from China, and nothing made of plastic. No plastic, nothing from China. If we got smart, I mean, I like quality over quantity. I don't want a big pile of crap I'm looking for a garbage can to throw away. I'd like one thing I can keep. Now, I'm just scratching the surface when I talk about like wooden spoons you'd use in the kitchen, or like a colander, or the hot pot pads or mittens so you can carry, grab a hot pot, little towels or kitchen rags. Those Rex stainless steel tumblers that are like a lifetime keep, but they're made out of stainless steel. I think if, that's just, I'm scratching the surface. There's got to be dozens, hundreds of items that you could throw off of Mardi Gras floats that you would want, and you wouldn't be just throwing in the ground. You'd be taking them home and using them. Wooden spoons in the kitchen, hot pot pads and mittens, colanders, spatulas, spoons, or like a big fork for tossing salad, wooden bowls. I mean, the stainless steel tumblers. I'm just kind of on that mode, little baby bibs, towels and things of that nature, beach towel, T-shirts, stuff you'd use that you'd actually keep and not junk. Now, I'm not talking super high quality, but I'm also not talking Chinese crap. I mean, the Mardi Gras makes a few dozen men in China millionaires, and then it just clogs up our drains with a bunch of crap. We're fighting over all this junk. Push a button and a little battery lights up something, and it breaks and falls apart in 30 minutes. I mean, Mardi Gras is China's dream. Wait, you want a bunch of crap. You want a bunch of plastic, worthless trinkets. You want a bunch of junk. You want a bunch of battery-operated crap that lasts about 30 minutes, and then it just falls apart. You want crap and junk. You want garbage and trash, and we can charge you real money for it? Hell yeah, we're in. That's what Mardi Gras is in New Orleans. Now, I've never mentioned the green thing yet, because that scares off so many people. Oh, you're worrying about the environment. But why not? Why not? We can do so much better for Mardi Gras. It's like Bourbon Street. It's a toilet. It doesn't need to be that way. We can have a better idea of what we want Bourbon Street to be, something where we would want to go down there, where we, the locals, avoid it because it's a toilet. We don't have to accept things the way they are. We can make it better. We can make Mardi Gras better. No one's going, dude, the Chinese plastic crap, we can't get rid of that. It's great stuff. It's just not. It's just not. And boy, the neighborhood parades, I do miss them. I do miss them. Young's Dry Cleaning, Their headquarters is Franklin and Fillmore. I bet you something rolled right down that neighborhood in Gentilia Parade. That's where Young's Restoration Department is. They take care of rugs and runners, drapes, fine linens, delicate, expensive antique items, anything fabric, material, or cloth. Young's Restoration Department can take care of it, get it back to like new conditions. You folks that may have had something tragic happen to your house or business, water damage, mold, mildew, smoke damage, Young's Restoration Department, they can really do an amazing job bringing those types of items back to like new conditions. Find out more about this New Orleans institution. Since 1940, youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Here's New Orleans native son, Corey Johnson.
New Orleans City Councilman Freddie King joins us.
So I want to first say thanks for having me. And believe it or not, man, I used to listen to your show all the time driving home. So it's an honor to be on.
Freddie, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you on the program. Thanks.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground, where New Orleans is heard.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring, and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria. Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Rouse's Markets tastes like home and smells like king cake. Each and every Rouse's location, 60 plus, baking those king cakes fresh each and every day. And they even sell them by the slice. 20 plus flavors. Ship them to friends and family around the country. Rouses.com. Nobody, and I mean nobody on planet Earth, sells more king cakes than your neighborhood Rouse's Markets. Over 60 Rouse's for over 60 years, decades and decades making those king cakes, that cinnamon dough. Boy, is that fantastic. Just the scents flowing through the Rouse's Markets locations. Nothing like Rouse's Markets king cakes. Rouse's Markets, best quality, best price, best selection. Home of your favorite king cake. Rouse's Markets tastes like home. I'm a plain Jane type of dude. I don't eat the flavored ones, really. I like the plain cinnamon dough with the icing. And I love that Rouse's has king cakes by the slice. Are you kidding me? Grab a few of those in between getting the big bad boy. And I like being able to ship to friends and family. What a great surprise when someone gets a package in a day or two and it's a Rouse's king cake and they're in Colorado or California or New York. Rouses.com to ship those king cakes. Hey, New Orleans' own Carl Weathers, St. Aug grad, ended up going to San Diego State, went to St. Aug on an academic scholarship, went to San Diego State on an athletic scholarship. He played a year for the Raiders and then played 2 years in the Canadian Football League while he was getting a graduate degree in drama from, I think, the University of San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of folks remember him as Apollo Creed, a bunch of other roles. Just a really good, humble guy, just a nice guy. And too young, 76 years old. And Carl Weathers looked like he was 40 or 50. Carl Weathers wasn't fat or heavy or out of shape. He's a beast like he always was. The only difference from Carl Weathers, I'm serious, in how he looked, a few years ago to how he looked 30 years ago. His beard was fully gray. His fro was black, but his beard was silver. And that was the only thing. I mean, I was like, this dude looks exactly the same. And really just a sweet, humble, kind man, a New Orleanian through and through. Carl Weathers passing away at 76 years old. What a shame. Governor Jeff Landry is down at the Texas-Mexico border. A political stunt, pure and simple. There's no Louisiana interest in the Texas-Mexico border. We have no illegal alien, undocumented worker problem. The opposite. We could use more. If anything, we are hyper grateful. Think about Katrina and Ida. Are you kidding? Helped us big time, saved our rear end. Why is Governor Jeff Landry down at the Texas-Mexico border? Strictly a political stunt, 110%. That's all it is. Nothing else. You think Governor Abbott of Texas is coming down to Grand Isle worrying about our vanishing coastline? This is political shenanigans. You folks that like Jeff Landry, that lean very hardcore right, no, illegal aliens and the undocumented workers, it's a major problem for you, even though it does not affect your life in the least bit. You might as well be worrying about spelunkering in the caves. Just silly. But that's what you get off on. That's what you like to worry about. That's what you think is so important. All these illegals. Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, they can fend for themselves. When they start coming to Louisiana worrying about our vanishing coast, I'll start worrying about illegals coming into their state. Jeff Landry, our governor at the Texas-Mexico border, is a political joke. Doesn't do anything for us. It's a farce. It's a farce. Boy, is Trey Yen good. You want to enjoy some Chinese cuisine? Not Chinese food. Chinese cuisine. Why don't you beeline across the lake? You North Shore folks at the foot of the causeway. You can pull right up front. They'll walk out the to-go order right to your car, curbside delivery. Like I said, it's not Chinese food. It's Chinese cuisine. 25 minutes from Lakeside Mall, Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
You know, body language tells you a lot about what a person's thinking. For instance, that means she has an interest in the finer things in life.
The Neutral Ground with Corey
That
Johnson.
means she also wants a little fun in her life, but only with the right man.
Corey Johnson.
Now she's pouring a Colt 45, and we all know what that.
Blue Boy jumping in there, cutting Colt 45 brand malt liquor off. Good job, buddy. I put some Colt 45 in your bowl one day, and it was terrible. Worse than Bud Light. Wow. Blue Boy saying, have a great weekend. See you Monday, New Orleans.
You're on the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.